Hello everyone, this is part 5 of What If Naruto Was the Child of the Moon in Percy Jackson, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Annabeth was wondering how Percy had survived all his life. She also wondered if he ever questioned his choices in life because right now, she regretted following Percy here. By now, Auntie M was in the room with two other people. All three of them were wearing the same garb as Auntie M. "Children, I'm back," Auntie M said as she returned with her companions. "Okay, can I get a smile from everyone?" A big smile. Who are they?" Percy asked. "These are my sisters," Auntie M said. "This is Auntie." She pointed to the one on the left. "This is Auntie S." She pointed to the one on the right. "They are here to observe you. They have to get the details of the statues right, you know." Our group of demigods simply waved at them. Just Auntie M was giving them the creeps. Adding her two sisters who were wearing almost the same dress as her except for the color added a whole new level of creep factor to them. Well, except for Percy who still bought the old woman persona. "Now then, let me see those smiles," Auntie M said with her enthusiasm in her voice. Annabeth, Naruto and Grover noticed that she still didn't have a camera in hand. Instead, she was holding onto her veil. Now that the three know who she really is, they have an idea on what she was about to do. 1, 2, 3, she counted. At the count of 3, she raised her veil revealing her true form. Before she could count to 3, Naruto made the hand signs for a jutsu and quickly casted it. "Get down," he shouted to his friends. Earth style, mobile core. As Auntie M raised her veil, the earth at her feet rose, knocking her off balance. Her sisters saw this and lunged at Naruto and his friends. "Get down," Naruto shouted as he dove, knocking his friends down to the ground to avoid the attacks of two sisters. The two sisters landed flat on the floor with their snake hairs squirming from their cloaks. "Percy, you were saying," Naruto chastised the son of Poseidon. But Percy tried to defend himself. "No time for that," Annabeth said. "We have to get out of here. You guys spread out and hide. I'll lead the others away," Naruto said. Naruto turned to the two sisters who by now were already up. Their hair that were made up of snakes were hissing at the demigods. "Hey uglies, catch me if you want to make a statue out of me," Naruto taunted as he ran past them. They scrambled to get up and took off to chase after him. The last thing Naruto heard from his friends were scrambling and Annabeth shouting to Percy not to look into her eyes. "Die, son of Artemis," the one who was introduced as Auntie threatened. How about no?" Naruto said back as he ran dodging a swipe from Auntie. "Hold still so we can turn you into a statue," the one introduced as Auntie S said trying to grab the blonde. "I don't think your statue maker is going to make out of this alive," Naruto retorted. Both of them growled with their snake hairs hissing. Naruto took out two kunai from his pouch and threw them at his pursuers. Being airborne, they easily swerved sideways to dodge them. No good going long range while they are in the air, Naruto thought. "I got to knock them down to the ground." Naruto had an idea. Wind style, heavy wind bullet. The blonde shot bullets of compressed air at his targets. The sisters didn't see the jutsu coming, so they got knocked down to the ground. Both of them got shakily to their feet. "Shadow clone jutsu," Naruto shouted with as he did the hand sign. "You take care of Auntie, or should I say Uriel?" he told the clone. "I'll take care of Steno." His clone nodded and went off. By that time, Steno already had her bearings straight. He looked at Naruto and saw two of them now. "What is this?" Steno asked. "Why are there two of you?" "Why should I tell you?" Naruto said as he charged Steno. Steno had her fangs ready as the blonde drew near. She swiped at Naruto. Thankfully, Naruto was agile enough to dodge her claws. In the corner of Naruto's eyes, he saw his clone send a Rasengan to Uriel. As usual, the jutsu did its work doing tons of damage, but was quickly reforming. Steno tried to take off again, but Naruto was quicker this time. He jumped over to her and kicked her towards a wall. "I will mince you to pieces, demigod," Steno growled. This time, instead of taking off, she bared her fangs and claws and dove towards Naruto. Just in time, the blonde sidestepped and sent a chakra-enhanced punch square in the jaw. She held her jaw in pain. Naruto's other hand slammed her to the ground. At exactly the same time, Steno stabbed her tail at her opponent. Ha! I got you! Steno triumphantly cried. Her expression immediately changed when Naruto disappeared in puff of smoke and, in his place, was a log. No! She wailed as the log fell to the floor. But I hit you. Steno lay on the ground nursing her cheek. Back towards Uriel, her sister, Naruto was now fighting her sister. Somehow, her sister was covered in cuts and burns all over her body. She saw her sister trying to slice Naruto with her claws. Hold still, she shouted in frustration. With one slice, Naruto disappeared, but quickly reappeared kicking her in the air. He then jumped in the air following her. Uriel tried to flap her wings and slice Naruto, who was just behind him. But, Naruto was flexible in the air, managing to maneuver out of the way and, instead, kicking her higher in the air. With one last kick, Naruto sent her falling towards Steno, who was now beginning to get up. Both of them groaned in pain. When Naruto landed back to the ground, he didn't give them a chance to recover this time. He channeled lightning chakra to his blades and charged them. Before they could get up, he stabbed them straight on the chest. I can't move, Steno said as she disintegrated into golden dust. Too strong, Uriel managed to say before she too disintegrated. Why do I get a feeling I would see them again in the future? Naruto said to himself as he pressed the ends of his kunai, causing them to go back to pen form. He shrugged it off. By instinct, he went over to what was left of her opponents to look for spoils to bring home. Lying in the middle of the dust was one of Steno's fangs. Score! He cheered as he pocketed the fang. After that, he went on to see his friends. Back with Percy, Annabeth and Grover. Naruto found his friends just about done with their fight. Grover was complaining with his eyes tightly closed. Oh yuck, mega yuck. Percy looked like he had just swung his sword. Annabeth was next to him, wrapping Medusa's head with her black veil. Good job, guys. Naruto congratulated his friends. I knew you could handle her. Naruto. They all shouted when they saw Naruto walking back. Annabeth was a bit more enthusiastic, jumping into a hug, knocking the blonde down to the ground. Percy looked a little jealous, looking away. What about you? Annabeth asked. I was worried. You took on two of them. Naruto just grinned at her and winked. That sent the message. Percy looked like he wanted to throw up. Why didn't the head evaporate? He asked. Once you sever it, it becomes a spoil of war, Annabeth answered. Same as your Minotaur horn. But don't unwrap the head. It can still petrify you. Grover climbed down of a grizzly statue. He had a big welt on his forehead. His green rasta cap hung from one of his little goat horns, and his fake feet had been knocked off his hooves. The magic sneakers were flying aimlessly around his head. You were really brave there, Grover. Naruto praised. Yeah, the Red Baron, Percy chimed in. Good job. He managed a bashful grin. That was fun, to be honest, the whacking her with a stick part. The crashing into the statue part, not so fun. Grover plucked his shoes out of the air and wore his fake feet again. Percy put away his sword. Together, they made their way to the warehouse. Behind the counter, they found some grocery bags to double wrap the Medusa's head and so they could carry it easier. They plopped it on the table where they ate and sat down. So, we have Athena to thank for this monster? Percy asked, breaking the silence. Annabeth flashed him an irritated look. She explained Medusa's history with Percy's dad, which explained why she wanted to keep Percy as a statue. She explained why Athena turned her and her sisters into Gorgons, which explained why Medusa wanted to slice her up. Oh, so it's my fault we met Medusa? Percy asked. No, but it's your fault we had to fight, Naruto said. Annabeth straightened and copied Percy, saying, it's just a photo. What's the harm? Such a sweet old woman. She continued. Shut up, you guys, Percy said, blushing. Percy just stared at the bag. On its side, the words, we appreciate your business, were printed. He got up. Where are you going? Annabeth asked. I'll be back, he said before running to the back of the warehouse. A few minutes later, he came back with a box in hand. He placed the box on the table and stuffed the Medusa head inside of it. After that, he filled out a delivery slip. The gods. Mount Olympus. 600th floor. Empire State Building. New York, New York. With best wishes, Percy Jackson. They're not going to like that. Grover warned. They'll think you're impertinent. I am impertinent, Percy said. Do you even know what impertinent means, Percy? Naruto teased. Shut up, Naruto, Percy said. Anyway, this will teach them about losing their stuff from now on. As Percy said the word, bolt, an idea made its way to Naruto's head, giving him a mischievous grin. Wait, Naruto said before Percy could seal up the package. I'm gonna send something too. From his bag, he brought out a lightning bolt plushie. Percy started to crack up. Where did you get that? Percy asked in between laughs. Back at the bus stop when I went to buy food. Naruto answered. Check this out. Naruto squeezed the plushie and the toy sent out zapping noises. Grover and Annabeth rolled their eyes. Percy was now out of breath from laughing, but he managed to laugh harder. On the back of the delivery slip, Naruto wrote a note and placed it in the plushie inside the box. Percy and Naruto sealed the box. The former poured some golden drachma inside a pouch. As soon as it closed, there was a sound of register. The package, then, floated off the table and disappeared with a pop. Okay, now that you are done clowning around, we need to think of a new plan. Annabeth said. And can we get out of here? Grover chimed in. This place doesn't seem safe anymore. They went around the room to look for supplies, packed them up, and went on their way. Back in the woods, they left the Garden Gnome Emporium tired from having to fight twice in one day and walked the rest of the day. Thankfully, they found some supplies and money in Medusa's office. Honestly, the other demigods didn't want to rely on Naruto's supplies. Right now, they were walking again. The night was quiet. Only the sound of the occasional animal was heard. Ahem, I never got to ask. Grover broke the night's silence. How do you still have your bag? Naruto scratched his head. Ever since the Bullman incident, I'm not taking any chances of losing my bag again. You can fight with that on your back? Annabeth asked curiously. It's not the first time I did it. Naruto answered. After walking for 100 yards, they made it to an area that looks like teens used as a party place. All around them, fast food wrappers and soda cans littered the area. As they were setting up camp, Grover spoke up. This makes me sad. What does? Percy asked. You signing up for this stupid quest? No. All this makes me sad. Grover answered as he gestured all around him. And the sky, you can't even see the stars anymore. This is a terrible time to be a satyr. Yeah, this is what I hated when I came here. Naruto explained. Back in the elemental nations, the wild is pretty much untouched. The only damage done there is through the battles. But, even with that, the wild still grows back. And, every night, the stars would shine brightly. You could watch them at night. It sounds like Pan would love it there. Grover mused. Pam. Like the cooking spray? Percy asked. Annabeth sighed loudly. It's Pan, Percy, not Pam. As clueless as ever, Percy. Naruto teased. The three of them chuckled for a bit at Percy's expense. The latter blushed in embarrassment. A few minutes later, they were done setting up. They were beginning to get comfy in their own places. Annabeth curled up on the blankets. As soon as her head hit the ground, she was sound asleep, snoring. Grover and Naruto decided to camp out up on the trees. Before Percy could get comfy, he asked about lighting a fire for them to dry off, but the idea was shot down because Annabeth said it could attract monsters and they were not keen on fighting any more monsters. Percy just shrugged it and sat down, leaning on the trunk of a tree. You can go ahead and sleep, Percy said. I'll take first watch. No need. I got it covered, Naruto said, pointing to four the clones stationed at different points around them. Answer, they decided to get comfortable and get some well-needed rest. The boys lay there for a few moments, but they really couldn't sleep. Percy knew his friends were still awake, so he spoke up. Is Pan the reason you need the searcher's license for? Yeah, Grover replied. It's my dream to find him and bring him back, so he could save the wild. What happened to him, Grover? Why do you need to find him? The god of wild places disappeared 2,000 years ago, he explained. A sailor off the coast of Ephesus heard a mysterious voice crying out from the shore, tell them that the great god Pan has died. When humans heard the news, they believed it. They've been pillaging Pan's kingdom ever since. But for the satyrs, Pan was our lord and master. He protected us and the wild places of the earth. We refuse to believe that he died. In every generation, the bravest satyrs pledge their lives to finding Pan. They search the earth, exploring all the wildest places, hoping to find where he is hidden, and wake him from his sleep. That's a pretty big dream, Grover. Naruto commented. And it sounds dangerous. Grover nodded. No searcher has ever come back. Once they set out, they are never heard from again. And you still want to be a searcher? Percy asked. Yeah, it's my life's dream, Grover explained. My father was a searcher. And my uncle Ferdinand, the statue you saw back there. Oh right, sorry, Percy said. Grover shook his head, and said with determination. Uncle Ferdinand knew the risks. So did my dad. But I'll succeed. I'll be the first searcher to return alive. That's dedication for you, Naruto said. Grover, never give up on your dream. No matter how difficult things seem, even if the odds are stacked against you. All you need is a hope and pure determination. Naruto's right. You will definitely find him. Percy said. Gee, thanks guys. You don't know how much it means for me to hear that. Grover said thankfully while wiping a stray tear from his eyes. Anytime, G-Man, Percy and Naruto said together. They sat there in silence for a few minutes until Grover spoke up. Hey Naruto, it sounds like you've been telling that to yourself, the stuff you've told me all your life. A sad look made its way to Naruto's face. Well, I grew up on my own. I never knew my parents. The other villagers didn't care much about me. Answer, I dreamed of being the Hokage, the leader and the strongest ninja of the village, so that they would acknowledge me. Although, it turned out I didn't need to be Hokage for some people to acknowledge me. That sounds like a hard life, Grover commented. But why would the other villagers not care for you? Percy asked. That part of Naruto's story bothered him. Now this was the part he didn't want his friends to learn about for fear they would shun him too. Naruto simply answered him with, long story. After that, the three fell into silence left to their own thoughts. Grover thought hopefully about his search for Pan. Percy was thinking about his quest to go to the underworld. And Naruto, he was taking in the night sky. Though he felt sad that he couldn't see the stars, the light of the moon still gave him comfort. So, how do we get to the underworld without dying first? Percy asked. And if we do, what chance do we have against a god? They really have not thought about it ever since they left for the quest. Both of his friends shrugged. Getting there, we'll worry about that later. First, we have to get to LA. Naruto said. As for facing a god, that's another story. We certainly can't count on Persephone this time. She is the only one who could appease her husband. Grover nodded. Back at Medusa's when you were searching her office. Annabeth was telling us. Oh, I forgot. Annabeth will have a plan all figured out. Percy said. Percy, don't start. Naruto warned. Don't be so hard on her, Percy. She's had a tough life, but she's a good person. After all, she forgave me. Grover's voice faltered. What do you mean? Percy asked. Forgave you for what? This is new to me. Naruto commented. What are you talking about? Grover went silent. He seemed more interested in his pipes. Wait a minute, Percy said. Your first keeper job was 5 years ago. Annabeth has been at camp 5 years. She wasn't. I mean, your first assignment that went wrong. I can't talk about it, Grover said, and his quivering lower lip suggested he'd start crying if I pressed him. But as I was saying, back at Medusa's, Annabeth and I agreed there's something strange going on with this quest. Something isn't what it seems. You think I'm the one getting blamed here? Percy complained. That's not what I mean. Grover said. He's right, Percy. It seemed like they were looking for something. I mean, back at the bus, they were screeching, where is it? Naruto explained. Yeah, they were looking for me, right? Percy said. Maybe. Grover said. But they were saying, where is it? Like they were looking for an object. Percy frowned. That doesn't make sense. I don't like where this might be going, but we only have 9 days to return the bolt, Naruto said. None of them had anything to say about that, but Percy did have something to confess. I haven't been honest with you guys, he confided. I only signed up for this quest so I could get back my mother back from the underworld. I don't care about the Master Bolt. Percy, are you sure that's the only reason? Grover asked. Percy nodded. I am not helping my dad. He doesn't care about me, and I don't care about him, so we're even. Naruto sighed. Percy, I have been with you for a long time now to know what you're thinking. I'm sure Grover here has noticed it too. You just found out that your dad is still out there. You're happy that he has claimed you. You want him to notice you somehow. But, Percy tried to protest. He's right, Percy. I can read your emotions. And, I'm guessing that is the reason you mailed Medusa's head to Olympus. Percy shook his head. No, you guys are wrong. I don't care what he thinks. Besides, I haven't done anything to brag about. I mean, we barely got out of New York, and we're stuck here with no money and no way west. Okay, Percy. Whatever. Grover said. That's enough arguing for one night. Naruto said with finality. Why don't we get some sleep? Oh, alright. Good night, then guys. Percy said. Good night. Naruto and Grover said at the same time. Percy turned away and closed his eyes. Unbeknownst to his friends, he was having another dream about the quest. Grover, on the other hand, didn't sleep right away, but he played some music on his pipes before going to sleep. These guys can be a handful sometimes, Naruto thought, but they are fun to be with, though. In the corner of his eyes, he noticed that Annabeth was shivering. Apparently, the blanket she was using wasn't doing its job. Naruto jumped down from his tree. Fortunately, he had a spare blanket. He wrapped it around Annabeth. She stopped shivering and a smile made its way to her lips. He went back to the branch he was before and lay on his back. In his new position, he saw the moon strangely glowing brighter. Mom, is that you? He asked. He didn't need an answer. He knew that the moon was his mother's domain. It made him feel warmer. As he closed his eyes, he went into a slumber. Mount Olympus. Give it back. I know you have it. A tall, imposing and muscular man shouted. This man had black shoulder-length hair and gray and black neatly trimmed beard. He had brilliant electric blue eyes. He was wearing a dark blue pin-striped suit. This is Zeus, king of the gods and lord of the sky. Right now, his expression was as dark as a thundercloud. Arguing back was someone who looked like an old-time fisherman. I don't have your stupid toy. Why would I steal your stupid toy anyway? He shouted back. This man had black hair, a neatly trimmed black beard, a deep tan and sea green eyes that were surrounded by sun crinkles. Unlike his brother, he was wearing casual clothes, namely, leather sandals, khaki Bermuda shorts and a Hawaiian shirt with coconuts and parrots all over it. This is Poseidon, god of the sea. These two elder brothers of Olympus were arguing again. Ever since the loss of the Master Bolt, arguments like this were happening a lot more frequently. My Master Bolt is not a stupid toy. Besides, this is because Mother Rhea liked me better, isn't it? That's a petty reason. I don't even have your bolt to begin with. The other gods wished that their arguments would stop. Day after day, it seemed like they would never hear the end of this argument. One of the Olympians, though, was sitting on his throne, grinning like a maniac hoping for war. They keep arguing and arguing. They didn't even notice a quest was given. An 8-year-old girl was said to herself as she was stoking the fire. This girl was sweet-looking and had an honest smile. She had black hair that framed her face in ringlets and warm brown eyes. She was wearing a simple and plain brown. This is Hestia. In the middle of their argument, Hermes, the god of messengers, spoke from his throne. If I may interrupt. There's a package for Poseidon and Zeus. He said. That got their attention. Fortunately, they stopped. Oh good, they stopped. The other gods thought. Who could possibly send us a package? Zeus asked. Hermes snapped his fingers and a small table appeared where he placed the package. Oh, it's from my son. Poseidon said as he read the words written on the box. Zeus glared at him. And apparently, from Artemis' son. He continued. Hermes opened the package. He brought the contents out from the box. He was holding Medusa's head wrapped in plastic bags which was still dripping goo from the neck. The other gods and goddesses entered the throne room. They were curious why the two brothers had stopped arguing. When they saw the head, all they could say was, "EW. I guess he is not happy with us." Poseidon said. He dares insult us like this. Zeus said enraged. Can you blame him, brother? Poseidon said to appease his brother. They must have been attacked today for him to do this. Oh, what is this? Hermes said, seeing that there was another object in the box. Oh, this guy is a genius. He said, starting to crack up. What now? Zeus asked. Hermes brought out a yellow lightning bolt plushie and gave it to Zeus. All the other gods were silent, not wanting to anger the king of the gods even more, but in their faces, you could see that they were trying hard not to laugh too. Hermes read the note that he got from the box with the plushie. Dear Zeus, this is Naruto Uzumaki, son of Artemis. I'm sure you've heard of me by now. Right now, we're on a quest to retrieve you Master Bolt. I'm guessing you are a little glum about losing it, so I sent a little gift for you until we retrieve it. Peace. Is this a joke? Zeus shouted, getting infuriated even more. In his anger, he inadvertently squished the toy. That was the breaking point. All the gods watching now fell to the floor laughing. Even the goddesses were giggling madly at what happened. Uzumaki, that sounds familiar somehow. Hermes thought to himself. Zeus was the only one who didn't find this amusing. He had a huge scowl on his face. He clearly didn't like Naruto's gift for him. I'm starting to hate this kid. He mumbled to himself. Is it morning already? Grover groaned as he woke up. Is anyone awake? Me. I'm awake. Annabeth answered as she stretched in her spot. Morning, Grover. Morning, Annabeth. He greeted back. Grover stretched too. When he opened his eyes, he looked at the tree branch where Naruto was lying the night before. Annabeth, where's Naruto? Grover asked. Dunno, his blanket is with me though. Annabeth asked. Grover flew down from the tree he was in. Both of them looked around. The clones Naruto pointed to last night were already gone. To Annabeth's left, she spotted the blonde who was just coming back from a stroll. Morning guys, Naruto greeted, followed by a bark from a small dog. I see you're awake and Percy is still asleep. He continued. Morning Naruto. Both of them greeted back in unison. Where'd you go? Annabeth asked. I went for a walk. He answered. Oh I see. Thanks for the blanket by the way. I hope you weren't cold last night. Annabeth said. Anytime, Naruto answered. You were shivering last night so I thought I'd give you my blanket. That was very sweet of you. Naruto gave her a big smile. The dog beside Naruto barked. Oh sorry. Guys, this is Gladiola. She says, say hi humans. Hi Gladiola. Both of Naruto's friends greeted. Wait, you, Grover exclaimed. Yep. Naruto answered nonchalantly. I'm just as surprised as you are. Guess this is one of the gifts I got from my mom. Wow, that's so cool, Grover said. He, then, glanced at Percy who was still sleeping. Should we wake Percy? Later, Annabeth said, after I cook breakfast. She turned to Gladiola and said with a smile, you're welcome to join us too, Gladiola. Gladiola barked in gratitude. A few minutes later, after Annabeth was done cooking, she said, okay, time to wake Percy. Naruto was about to go, but she quickly stopped him. I'll do it. Looking over Percy, she could see a pool of drool was forming at the side of his mouth. She, then, grabbed Percy by the shoulder and shook him awake. Percy's eyes fluttered open. Well, the zombie lives, Annabeth said. He was trembling like he just came from a nightmare. How long was I asleep? He managed. Long enough for me to cook breakfast, and for Naruto to go strolling. She answered. Percy glanced at Grover and Naruto. Gladiola barked suspiciously. No, he's not, Grover said. He's a friend too, Naruto added. Percy blinked. Are you talking to that thing? Gladiola growled. Her. Naruto corrected. She is our ticket west. Be nice. Grover told him off. Yeah, check this out. Naruto showed him a flyer with the words missing plastered on the top and a picture of Gladiola just below it. You guys can talk to animals? Percy asked. They ignored his question. Instead, Grover introduced Percy to Gladiola. Gladiola, this is Percy. Percy, Gladiola. Percy glanced at Annabeth hoping to see if she would crack up. He figured his friends were pranking him. Unfortunately, she was dead serious. All of them were. No, Percy said. I am not saying hello to the poodle. Forget it. We said hi to Gladiola, Percy. You should too. Gladiola growled. Okay, Percy said with his arms raised. Hi Gladiola. There. Happy. She barked as if saying, damn right. As Percy was eating, his friends explained to him how Naruto came across the poodle while he was strolling through the woods. He was dumbfounded when he learned that Naruto was able to talk to animals due to his mother. They explained that Gladiola ran away from her family, so they posted a $200 reward for his return. Gladiola really didn't want to go back home, but she was willing to after they had talked when Annabeth was preparing breakfast. How does Gladiola know about the reward? Percy asked. Duh. Grover said. He read the signs. So we bring Gladiola home, we get the money, and we buy tickets to Los Angeles. Annabeth said in her best strategy voice. Not another bus, Percy said warily. Naruto shook his head. Nope. Gladiola said there's an Amtrak station half a mile that way. Naruto pointed downhill. She said it leaves at noon. First on the checklist of the group was to get Gladiola back to her owners. Thankfully, they didn't have to look for the house because the poodle knew how to get home. When they got to the house, they knocked on the door. A large lady opened the door. Naruto and the gang introduced themselves and told the lady that they were there to return Gladiola. As soon as the lady saw her poodle, she shouted in glee, picked the dog up and smothered her. When Naruto saw this, he felt phantom claws scratch his face. The owner reminded him of Tora the cat, the one he and Team 7 repeatedly caught back in the hidden leaf. After they got paid, they said the goodbyes to the lady and to Gladiola. Then, they were on their way to the train station. When they got a little farther from the house, Naruto said to his friends, "Now, I understand why Gladiola ran away." His friends, save for Percy, snickered at the older blonde's statement. Now, they needed to make their way to the Amtrak station. On the way to the train station, only Percy was silent. He had this dream about a voice in a deep pit coaxing him to join him and help him rise. Until now, he was still shaken. Naruto was making jokes so his friends would forget their fatigue. He knew that they were not used to this, unlike him. Thankfully, no monsters attacked and they got into the train safe and sound. Naruto's friends stopped for a moment to catch their breaths. "You guys stay here," Annabeth said. "I'll go and buy us some tickets." The rest of the group nodded, and she left to go get the tickets. They had to wait for a bit, since there were quite a bit of people in the train station. After Annabeth returned, they went onto the platform to wait for the train. "Guys, keep your head down," Grover warned his friends. They saw both of their pictures in several East Coast newspapers that people were reading. One newspaper in particular, the Trenton Register News, showed a picture of both boys as they got off the Greyhound. Percy had a wild look in his eyes. On his hands, there was a metallic blur. Naruto was on his side when the picture was taken. When you looked at his hands, he looked like he was holding a piece of bread with its top bitten off. Under the picture, it read, 12-year-old Percy Jackson and 13-year-old Naruto Uzumaki, wanted for questioning in the Long Island disappearance of Sally Jackson 2 weeks ago, are shown here fleeing from the bus where they accosted several elderly female passengers. The bus exploded on an East New Jersey roadside shortly after Jackson and Uzumaki fled the scene. Based on eyewitness accounts, police believe the boys may be traveling with 2 teenage accomplices. Gabe Ugliano, Sally Jackson's husband, has offered a cash reward for information leading to his capture. Naruto cursed under his breath. "Don't worry," Annabeth said. "Mortal police could never find us." But she didn't sound so sure. Eventually, Grover and the demigods were able to get on the train. Unfortunately for the demigods, the trip was going to take more than a day to get to their destination. The reward money was able to buy them tickets to go as far as Denver, but it was not enough to get them berths at the sleeper cars. You could just imagine the murder on their necks for trying to sleep upright. For the rest of the day, the demigods played some cards, which Naruto had packed for situations like this. They were playing just for fun. It's not like they had money to gamble anyway. Those cards Naruto brought managed to get them through the rest of the day. When night came, they were tired, so they fell asleep soundly. Throughout the night, Grover's bleating and snoring was waking his friends every now and then. Later that night, Naruto was once again woken up by Grover's snoring. At that time, he caught Percy mumbling in his sleep. "I won't help you," he said. "I wonder if he's dreaming about this quest," Naruto thought. To Percy's left, Grover shuffled in his sleep. He mumbled something about enchiladas, then moved about. This made his fake feet fall off, exposing his goat feet. Naruto saw this, and quickly sprang up to stick his shoe back into place. He looked around to see if anyone saw this happen. Fortunately, it was only Annabeth who was awake. She was leaning on Naruto's shoulder and Naruto scrambling off his seat, waking her up. "Sorry, I woke you up." Naruto apologized. "It's okay," Annabeth said. Naruto smiled. "Did you sleep okay?" he asked. "As okay as Grover's snoring could make," she answered. They both quietly chuckled. Their conversation was interrupted when Percy mumbled a little louder this time. "No, I won't help you. He moaned. Just give back my mother. Naruto and Annabeth looked at each other. Percy woke up with a start from his dream this time. You okay? Naruto asked. He nodded. So, who needs your help? Annabeth asked. What? Percy asked, confused. You were mumbling in your sleep. She said. So, who were you dreaming about? Percy looked reluctant to say something. But, he changed his mind and decided to tell his friends about it. It was a good thing that his friends were silent while they listened to his story. That doesn't sound like Hades, Annabeth said as soon Percy finished the story. How can't it be Hades? The voice offered my mom. Percy protested. I think we're missing something here. Naruto said. I have a hunch that Hades isn't the real culprit. How? Annabeth asked. I mean, he should hold grudges against his brothers. Why wouldn't he want them to tear themselves apart? I don't know. Naruto shook his head. Damn, I hate not knowing anything. Missions back at home weren't this mysterious. I agree, Annabeth said. Anyway, I feel we will find our answers in the underworld. Naruto said. The three sat in silence hoping the quest wouldn't get so complicated. In a few moments, they were sleeping again, fatigue still catching up with them. Next day, Grover woke up in the morning to Naruto looking out the window. Good morning, Naruto greeted when he noticed his friend wake up. Mornin' Naruto, Grover greeted back. My butt's getting sore of sitting here all day. Me too. Too bad we still have at least a day to spend here. Yeah, well, what can you do? Grover smiled. He looked at Annabeth beside Naruto. She was still sound asleep leaning on Naruto's shoulder. Annabeth seems to be warming up to you, Grover commented. She has never been the type to trust too easily. He was silent for a few seconds, and then he continued. At least not since Talia. Naruto watched Grover's expression. He saw Grover trying to keep himself together. He knew that Talia was touchy subject for Grover. The satyr still blamed himself for her loss. You were assigned to get Talia to camp, weren't you, Grover? Naruto asked. Grover was silent. All he could do without breaking down was nod his head. Naruto took a deep breath. Grover, not all things come in our favor. All of us have our failures, even me. Naruto said. Even you. Grover couldn't believe what he was hearing. He looked up to Naruto. It was hard for him to see him or hear about him fail. Naruto nodded. He tried for a pained smile. What happened? I have this teammate, who I always had fights with. Even back when we were young, I saw him all alone. I was thrilled, when I knew this, you know. I know it's crazy, but I felt that I wasn't the only one alone anymore. There was someone else like me. So we grew up and wound up on the same team. When we had our introductions, he said that he had this ambition of killing someone. So, he had to get stronger. I always looked up to him. I kept chasing after him, so I got stronger. What I didn't know was he was getting intimidated by how far I was getting. Answer, he decided to leave the village in pursuit of power. Naruto paused for a moment. The Hokage learned about this and made up a team to chase after him and bring him back to the village. We were hot on their tails. His escorts tried to slow us down to the point where one by one, each of my teammates had to stay behind and fight them one-on-one. After a long chase, I managed to catch up to him, but he tried to kill me. So, I decided that if I were to bring him back home, I had to break every bone inside his body and drag him back the village. We had to settle it that time. We fought until we had to bring out our trump cards, and unleash one last attack on each other. You lost. Naruto shrugged. I didn't know what happened. When I came to, I was here in this world. All I know is I wasn't able to bring him back. Grover took a while to take it all in. In the moment of silence, Annabeth decided to speak up. Apparently, she had been awake listening to their conversations about Talia. I never blamed you for what happened, Annabeth said. Mornin' Annabeth, Naruto greeted. When Grover heard this, he was sniffling already. Ah, really? He managed to ask. Annabeth nodded her head. Losing Talia hurt for sure, but none of us ever blamed you for it, even Luke. I'm sure Talia forgives you. She got up and hugged the satyr. Thanks guys, Grover managed. Anytime, both blondes said at the same time. At this time, Percy was stirring from his sleep and slurping the drool that had formed on the side of his mouth. Wah, Percy said as he woke up. His friends just laughed at the son of Poseidon. That is how the second day of their trip started. For the second day, the demigods played cards again, but they quickly grew tired of this. Percy couldn't sit still this time, so he spent the whole day pacing the train carriage back and forth. Naruto, Annabeth and Grover played a game of looking for stuff outside the window, kind of like bingo. In one instance, they passed by a wheat field where they saw a family of centaurs. The little boy centaur, who was the size of a second grader with the backside of a pony, waved at them as they passed. The other passengers didn't seem to notice them. Just like yesterday, the other passengers were preoccupied with the gadgets. Later, they passed a wooded area. They saw the silhouette of a huge creature moving through the woods. Naruto thought it was a lion, but he couldn't believe it. He knew that lions didn't live in the wild in America. Before they could find out what it was, the creature leaped through the trees and disappeared. Towards the end of the day, Naruto and Annabeth were just talking to each other. She seemed comfortable talking about her life to the older blonde. Percy got tired of looking around the train, so he just sat down beside Grover, who was snoring again. Around that time, they went through some golden hills and over the Mississippi River into Street Louis. Annabeth craned her neck to get a better view of the gateway arch. Percy made a comment about how it looked like a huge shopping bag handle stuck to the city. Annabeth flashed him an angry look and mumbled, "Seaweed brain." Naruto facepalmed, and Grover snored in agreement. "I want to do that," she told her friends. "What?" Percy asked. "I want to build something like that or build something like the Parthenon. Something that would be the greatest monuments for the gods. Something that would last 1,000 years like the Parthenon." Percy laughed. "You, an architect?" Annabeth's cheeks flushed. Naruto flashed Percy an angry look. "Percy, you don't riff on the dreams of other people. I should know." Annabeth smiled. She put a hand on Naruto's shoulder and mouthed, "Thank you." "Sorry." Percy apologized. "Yes, Percy, an architect. As children of Athena, we are expected to build things. Never give up your dreams," Naruto said. She grinned. Percy thought for a moment and said, "Can't we work together a little?" Naruto and Annabeth looked at Percy. "I mean, didn't Poseidon and Athena ever cooperate?" Percy asked. She had to think about it. "I guess, the chariot," she said tentatively. "My mom invented it, but Poseidon created horses out of the crests of waves. So they had to work together to make it complete. Then, we can cooperate too, right?" As they rode into the city, Annabeth was looking out the window, watching the arch as it disappeared behind a hotel. "I suppose," she said as the arch disappeared. "Good," Naruto said. "I hope you guys won't fight anymore." "We won't," both of them said with a bleat of affirmation from a sleeping Grover. A little later, the train pulled up into the Amtrak station. The intercom told the passengers that they would have a 3-hour layover before departing to Denver. Grover stretched in his place and moaned, "Food." Annabeth shook him awake. "Come on, goat boy. We're going sightseeing." "Sightseeing? Yep. The Gateway Arch," she explained. "This may be my only chance to ride to the top. You coming or not?" Percy looked like he wanted to protest. He and Grover exchanged looks. "Come on, guys. Give her a chance," Naruto urged. The satyr shrugged. "As long as there's a snack bar without monsters. I had enough of getting attacked." "Fair enough," Naruto said. "Let's go." Annabeth pulled her friends along with Naruto following along. The arch was a mile away from the train station. Percy and Grover weren't too happy to walk again. Both of them were complaining about it. Naruto promised to treat them with some food if they go along with Annabeth for the next 3 hours. The promise of food got their attention, though they still didn't look thrilled about the sights and Annabeth spouting facts about the arch. Only Naruto was listening intently to her explanations and occasionally asking questions. To be fair, it was his first time to see the arch. For the past year, the only thing the blonde had seen was Manhattan and Camp Half-Blood. While munching on their treats, Percy kept looking around, especially at the other people in the line, and leaned over to Grover, who had his nose in a jelly bean bag. "You smell any monsters?" he asked. Grover momentarily looked up to sniff the air. He shook his head. "Underground air always smells like monsters." But Percy didn't seem convinced, so he spoke up, interrupting Annabeth's explanation, causing both blondes to look at him. Guy, you know the god symbol of power." "Yeah," Annabeth said with an irritated look on her face. "Doesn't hate," Percy began to say, but Grover quickly covered his mouth. He cleared his throat. "Percy, we're in public, you mean our friend downstairs? He looked at the floor to like it would open up to swallow them. More like way downstairs, Naruto joked. Why yeah. Our friend way downstairs has a hat like Annabeth's, right? Percy asked. The Helm of Darkness, Naruto said. Annabeth nodded. Yeah, that's his symbol of power. I saw it next to his seat during the winter solstice meeting. Wait, Naruto said excitedly. You went to Mount Olympus last winter solstice. Yes, us year-rounders go to there for a field trip of sorts. She explained. Naruto Wolf whistled. Anyway, she continued. His helm is a lot more powerful than my invisibility hat. My hat only allows me to go invisible, while the helm allows him to melt into shadow or pass through walls. The user can't be touched, or seen, or heard, and he can radiate fear so intense it can drive you insane or stop your heart. He literally becomes darkness itself. Sir, how do we know for sure he's not watching us right now? Percy asked. We don't. It was Grover who replied. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Annabeth, please continue. Naruto urged, to which Annabeth obliged. She was happy that someone else was as interested as her. They made it to the elevator to take them to the top of the arch. Seeing how small the car was made Percy feel queasy just by looking at it. Nevertheless, they entered the elevator anyway. Before the elevator door could close, a hand shot forward to stop it, and a very plump lady walked in with her chihuahua. The lady definitely reminded him of Gladiola's owner. When the newcomer was in place, the elevator door closed and the car started going up. The lady decided to make small talk, no parents. There below, Annabeth told her. Scared of heights. Oh, the poor darlings. The chihuahua growled at the group. The woman told her dog off, now, Sonny. Behave. The dog stopped growling, kept eyeing them, especially Percy. Naruto was thinking to himself. He should have understood what the dog was saying, but this time, he didn't. That distracted him from listening to Annabeth. His name is Sonny. Percy asked. No, she said. Then, she smiled like that cleared everything up. At the top of the arch, Percy was glad that the lady went the opposite way. Being at the top of the arch, though, didn't help Percy's queasiness. He pretty much wanted to get down. Naruto decided to listen to Annabeth, but a nagging feeling was telling him that something was wrong about the chihuahua. Annabeth was talking about structural supports, this time, and how she made the windows bigger and designed a see-through floor. Naruto and Annabeth, heck even Grover if he still had food, could have stayed there for hours, but luckily for Percy, Grover was running out already and a park ranger announced that they would be closing in a few minutes, much to Annabeth's dismay. Percy, then, steered his friends to the elevator car. Unfortunately, the car was only able to take Annabeth and Grover, since there were already two other tourists in the car. Next car, sirs. The park ranger said. No. We'll get out. Annabeth protested. We'll wait for you too. No, it's okay. We'll see you guys at the bottom. Percy said. Are you sure? Grover asked. Yeah. If you get out now, that would take more time. Naruto said. Plus, we got each other's back. Annabeth and Grover had a nervous look on their faces, but they let the doors close and the elevator car proceeded to go down. Now, the only ones left in the top of the arch are a family, complete with mother, father and a little boy, the park ranger, and the plump lady with a chihuahua, along with Naruto and Percy. They both smiled at the plump lady, and she smiled back at her with a forked tongue between her teeth. Dude, she can't be human. Naruto whispered to his friend when he saw the tongue. Percy rubbed his eyes to check if he had really seen it. Why am I getting a feeling that we're going to fight again? He complained. The chihuahua decided to take the moment to start barking at Percy. Now, Sonny, the lady said. Does this look like a good time? We have all this nice people here. The little boy was admiring the chihuahua, Doggy. His parents pulled him back. The chihuahua bared his teeth, foam dripping from his black lips. Okay then, son, the fat lady sighed. If you insist. I started forming in Percy's stomach. Did you just call the chihuahua your son? He's a chimera, dear, the chubby lady corrected. Not a chihuahua. It's an easy mistake to make. She rolled up her denim sleeves, revealing that the skin of her arms was scaly and green. When she smiled, it showed that her teeth were fangs. Her pupils were sideways slits, like a reptile's. The little boy was now screaming. His parents pulled him back, and they retreated straight to the park ranger, who stood, paralyzed, gaping at the monster with his back to the elevator doors. Naruto and Percy, though, stood the ground as they watched as the Chihuahua, or Chimera as the lady said, slowly got bigger. To be continued. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.